This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Harley Race.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
This is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans from around the corner and around the world, welcome to another installment of Wrestling Insiders. I'm Dan Marotti here at MWF Studios, just north of Boston in Melrose, Massachusetts. In this installment, let's take a look at the Wednesday, June 24th, 2015 edition of TNA Impact, almost live on Destination America. Before we get going, fans, we'd love for you to take advantage of some of the great offers we have here at Boston Wrestling, as well as from our partners that we team up with, so we can continue to bring you more and more great free professional wrestling content. WWE Network is going to be available to new subscribers absolutely free for the month of June. That includes WWE Money in the Bank this Sunday night, June the 14th, as well as recent big events such as Elimination Chamber, Payback, NXT TakeOver Unstoppable, and thousands of hours more in the WWE archives. It's unbelievable. It's the best value in pro wrestling media. Click on the link below on our YouTube page and start enjoying the WWE Network now for the month of June. Also, don't forget that you can help Boston Wrestling by using our special links for both Amazon.com and WWEshop.com. No matter what you buy, even non-wrestling merchandise on Amazon, we get a small percentage of your purchase, and it doesn't increase your cost 1 single cent. We bring you tons of free content each week and need some help to keep the train rolling. Don't feel like shopping? We have a PayPal account, folks. You can send a donation of any denomination, $1, $2, $1,000, whatever you like, using the email address bw@bostonwrestling.com. We'd love to send you a shout-out for helping grow our library for fans around the world to enjoy. We'd also be very happy if you joined us by subscribing for free to our YouTube channel. We're starting to close in on 800 free videos for your viewing pleasure. If you enjoy what you see, please share it with friends, and most importantly, click the like button on each video that you watch so YouTube will showcase our giant library to more and more of your professional wrestling fans. Impact opened up with an Ethan Carter III Kurt Angle confrontation. EC3 put over Angle as the best until they meet for the championship next week on Impact. Angle promises that Carter will tap. Carter put over his undefeated streak. TNA's done an excellent job with that. It just shows that if you build someone up the right way and they continue to win, beat established guys, and you don't water down the push, it can be effective. And I think Ethan Carter has turned into an absolutely tremendous heel for TNA. And I'd be pretty surprised if he didn't walk away with the gold on July the 1st. Again, that's just one man's opinion, but it's made wins and losses mean something. Isn't that refreshing in 2015? Carter picked the returning Matt Hardy to face Angle in his warm-up match. Last week, Angle picked Bobby Lashley to face Carter, so now it was Carter's turn to pick Angle's opponent. Last time we saw Hardy, it looked like he was considering retiring, which I don't think any fan of more than 2 weeks believed in the least, but that's the main event, Angle and Matt Hardy, in what I believe is a non-title matchup. Low Key battled Tigre Uno against Grotto in a triple threat match. Having Grotto involved with this was an embarrassment. Low Key eliminated him for the first elimination. They put over that there's been 73 X Division title reigns in 14 years. Do the math on that, and then you need no explanation as to why the title isn't over. End of discussion. That made me angry because it just exposes how bad the creative has been. It's not like boxing or UFC where if you defended a title that frequently, you could lose it. It's professional wrestling where the creative, there's always curveballs thrown your way with different injuries and contract situations, but you can plan ahead. Use some common sense. It doesn't have to be thrown around like a frisbee. Again, that's just one man's opinion, but 73 reigns in 14 years. Even if it was half of that, which is still too much, half of 73 in 14 years, again, too much, but how much more over would the title be? Therefore, how much more over would some of the champions be? I don't get it, but you know what? That's professional wrestling in 2015, but TNA could do itself a lot of favors
in turning their championships into something of value that fans can rally behind and be interested in. In an upset, again, in my opinion, Tigre Uno defeated Low Ki to win the title. In the quote-unquote new TNA and what it is right now, I guess it's good to get someone over new. Tigre Uno could bring merchandising possibilities as well, but, Low Ki is one of the best professional wrestlers in the world, bar none. He is excellent. Every little thing he does is so good, so crisp, so believable. Why he isn't more of a featured guy, I don't know. There's a lot of internet folks that say Low Ki is difficult to deal with. We've had Low Ki here in the Millennium Wrestling Federation, and I'll say this. I'd love to have Low Ki on every event we ever promote. He is that good. I'd love to see a program with Low Ki and Kurt Angle for the championship, even if it's just a TV feud where TNA has such pay-per-views, but it appears Low Ki's gone now. That was the breaking news out of this live taping, that Low Ki and TNA have parted ways, according to Low Ki's Twitter account. So that's disappointing for the fans. Another hideous promo from the Dollhouse promoting their Slammiversary handicap match. Nothing has been done to make this important. And I'm not talking about this match. I'm talking about the entire pay-per-view. Why have the pay-per-view if you're not going to make it of any interest to the fans to buy it? I don't know. You have Magnus versus Storm, Robbie E versus Jesse Gutierrez, Bobby Lashley, and Mr. Anderson against EC3 and Tyrus. It's almost like the pay-per-view and the matches are a secret. Velvet Sky defeated Angelina Love in a match where Velvet could return to the active roster in TNA after being fired in that hideous Feast or Fired stipulation late last year. Less said about it, the better. It's great to have Velvet Sky around for the fans. She's great, but, it's just another stupid angle with little thought put into it. Feast or Fired is the worst of the worst in TNA, but again, that's a different story for a different time as well. You had Full Metal Mayhem. The Dirty Heels defeated the Wolves to tie up their best-of-5 series at 2. I thought a Full Metal Mayhem match might have been the best climax for the best-of-5, but the whole series has been done backwards. There was no reason to have the Wolves win the first 2 match and then have the Heels rally from behind. You should flip-flop it. Again, that's just me. Aries hit an awesome missile dropkick on Eddie Edwards when Bobby Roode was going to powerbomb him through a table. That was some highlight reel stuff. And then at the finish, Eddie Edwards was going to powerbomb Bobby Roode. There was a trash can over Roode's head. But as Davey Richards went to the top rope, Aries smashed him with the steel chair, then low-blowed Edwards for Roode to fall on top of him for the pin. The series is tied at 2. It wasn't exactly a good wrestling match because there wasn't much wrestling in it, but it was very watchable. I like just about everything that the Wolves do, and I think where I've been kind of down on Bobby Roode as a top guy, main event guy, I think he is great in tag team competition, and it has shown in this series with him and Aries and the Wolves. Jeff Jarrett came out with his wife Karen wearing a Global Force Wrestling t-shirt. That's the promotion he owns. Big surprise, there was no theme song used. Imagine that. A surprise without this theme song cued to be played. Jarrett said he got a text from TNA management about having a matchup. Not any match, but quote-unquote, his match, the King of the Mountain, at TNA Slammiversary, the 13th anniversary of the company he created with his father, Jerry. Karen said she didn't completely understand why they were there, but she knows that Jeff wants to go out his way. This is one of the better promos you'll ever see in TNA. It was sincere. There was great emotion. Try and find it online if you missed it. Again, the whole match is a secret as far as to what the main event is. It's Slammiversary. The participants weren't announced. This was a really good effort by Jeff Jarrett and Karen. Bram had his weekly match against a former TNA star, and they went way back for this one. They brought back Vader, who was around in TNA during the weekly pay-per-view eras. You're talking maybe, 2003? Have to question TNA on this one. If the goal is to push Bram and try and get him over, why put him in a lousy match against Vader? And believe me, I have the utmost respect for Vader in his career. I'm very friendly with Vader. This just wrong place, wrong guy, I guess, in my opinion. Bram got in little offense. Vader didn't even take a bump for him. In the end, Bram hit Vader with a foreign object from under the ring for a DQ. Then Vader was wound up saved by Matt Morgan, of all people, who returns to face Bram at Slammiversary Sunday night. Eric Young defeated Chris Melendez. I respect what Melendez has done in his life. and being able to go so far in pro wrestling after he lost his leg, but this match wasn't for me. I'll say this, again, like Bobby Roode, I'm not a believer in Eric Young as a top guy by any stretch of the imagination, but he hits a hell of a pile driver, and he used that for his victory over Melendez. Impact came back from a commercial break. The Rising and the Beatdown Clan were brawling all around ringside. Hernandez of LAX fame returned, and he joined the attack on the Rising. He's part of the Beatdown Clan now. I always thought Hernandez was very good teaming up with Homicide several years back in TNA. I think Hernandez is a really good guy in the interactions I've had with him in the King of Sports Professional Wrestling. With Homicide apparently coming back to join the faction sooner than later once he's recovered from surgery, I think you have a great reunion tag team-wise. When TNA has been able to get something that clicks, they need to do everything possible to keep it together, and I think the original Beatdown Clan was tremendous. I understood the situation with Samoa Joe, and then Homicide was injured. Low-Key's leaving. Now Hernandez is in. It just seems like there's been too much in and out for a faction that's so new. In the main event, Kurt Angle defeated Matt Hardy in what I believe was a non-title matchup. Ethan Carter III and Tyrus ran interference after the matchup was over. Matt Hardy gave the assist to Angle, and Angle wound up hitting the Angle Slam on the big man Tyrus. This was the go-home for their championship matchup if Angle retains the title at the pay-per-view next Wednesday night on Impact. Matt Hardy was slower in this one. He didn't look as crisp as he usually does, but Angle and Matt Hardy delivered a pretty good matchup here. Hardy certainly wasn't the threat to Angle that Lashley was to Ethan Carter III last week, in my opinion. This was another episode of TNA that had more good than bad in it, but still tons of confusion. Tons of it. Again, even with Jeff Jarrett's great promo, nothing was done to make me want to spend my time or my money watching Slammiversary. How do you have a pay-per-view without a main event announced? Who's in the King of the Mountain match other than Jeff Jarrett and presumably Kurt Angle? There was much more emphasis put on the July 1st Impact, and in the state TNA is in right now when it comes to their TV deal, ratings are the most important piece of the puzzle, but WWE's proven in its best week that you can put together more than one quality program with quality matches and angles. There's weeks they've hit a home run with a pay-per-view on a Sunday, Raw on Monday, and a SmackDown taping on a Tuesday. I'd rather see TNA at least attempt to do something like that than fail and do next to nothing to build up their 13th anniversary pay-per-view Sunday night. But again, as always, that's just one man's opinion. I'd love to know your opinion. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Make sure you check out the rest of this week's coverage of the Wednesday Night Wars on our YouTube channel, along with nearly 800 other great videos for your enjoyment. Share them with your friends. Until we speak again, fans, you and yours, be well.
Push and shove.